Hello. Happy Tuesday. It is once again Keep Stream Day. And I'm back. After being away last week, I realized I didn't actually ever publish anything about that. I think I changed the schedule on Twitch, but hey, Keyboard Dad. Welcome, welcome. How you doing? Hello, Frederick. It is indeed now a happy Tuesday. I have a lime spindrift, which is helping. I was gone all last week for work, traveling. And then I got a cold right at the end of that. And it's just now clearing up. I had the sore throat and all that, so the bubbly is helping with that. Doing well, had a good day at work. That's good to hear. I also had a pretty good day at work. It's because we had yesterday off for Indigenous Peoples Day, of course. And then, so it was basically, today was the start of kind of a new batch of work for everybody. Because we kind of organize ourselves into these 4-week sprints or splits with some time off in between. So, yeah. It had basically been a big ramp up of launching a new icon pack for a while, and then we had our work trip all together, and now we're kind of like coming off of that and trying to get into a new batch of stuff. So there's a little bit of like a little bit of work vertigo, I guess. Work-ago? I don't know. We'll workshop that. But it's been a very busy time because that's going on. I'm prepping for my keyboard event that I'm running at my co-working space next week, which is why behind me is so sparse right now because everything is packed up. Almost everything's packed up. I still need to tweak a couple more boards. And then, of course, I've also got the Novel Keys meetup this coming weekend, which I'm so excited about. Mike did a stream yesterday, I want to say, talking about some of that and a bunch of other really good information, which was very exciting. I got my car rental reservation figured out because I'm flying into Pittsburgh and then driving down to Morgantown. So getting all the logistics to play. And something I wanted to talk about here, potentially, is what boards I'm thinking about taking. Maybe before we dig into the build of today. That is going to be awesome. I'm very excited about it. I also found out, this was actually before my trip, Mike had mentioned that anybody who got the Novel Keys experience ticket, which is an extra thing on top of the normal meetup, so it's like a little smaller group that's going to actually go to the Novel Keys office and like shoot the shit and stuff. People with that ticket are also going to get a special version of one of the little orb fidget spinner things that they've made. I think it's going to be a special aluminum and Novel Keys blue anno, which is pretty cool. I'm excited to get one of those. I mean, in addition to getting to hang out with the Novel Keys folks and take a look around and all that stuff, it's going to be really fun. What other keyboard news have I encountered? A lot has happened in the past week. I feel like everything has come into group buy. Just recently. Almost anything blue is awesome. That's very true. You know better than any, I think, Frederick. And also, I also love blue, especially Fawn Awesome Blue. But yeah, like a ton of stuff has just entered group buy. More stuff is about to enter group buy. It's a very busy time. There's a lot of stuff going on. For example, Kaiju is in group buy now, round 3. Which is wild. So it's like your standard Kaiju and then Dark Kaiju, which is new. And I think they're offering the Latin alphas again as well. Which I think was a thing in round 1, but not in round 2. Anyway, that's really cool. I got in on the Dark base because I have some plans for that. And then also Windbreaker just went into group buy. A long coveted set. Ever since its initial run as a DCS set years ago. Awesome to see it make a comeback. Also jumped in on that. I also appreciated them trying to keep the price down a little bit by cutting a numpad out of the base kit, because I for one so rarely use the numpad except in the board we're going to build today. But yeah, I appreciate their efforts on that. I'm excited to get this. Not sure what I'll put this on yet, but I have some ideas. It might work really well on the DNWorks 7. So they got the kind of tealish model of that, which I think might look pretty cool. Well, oh yeah, of course. Friend of the channel, Evans. Extra Prius Please's new set, Gorp, is also in group buy right now as of last week. Which is wild. I went in on the base kit and the alt alphas and the novelties. I do love the desk mats as well. Oh, they're there. But I don't need any new desk mats right now, unfortunately. So I did not go in on those. But I have some ideas for some boards to put this on as well. But we'll see. One of them being a board we'll talk about in a second. But you could put the windbreaker set on anything for real. Yeah, like those neon colors, 80s, 90s colors would go pretty well on most anything. But I got some plans for Gorp. I think it's really great. This runs, let's see, Gorp runs until November 2nd. Windbreaker runs until November 9th. Kaiju runs until Halloween. So it's like all of this stuff is overlapping like crazy. Then there's two other 60% boards coming to... I think Novel Keys is vending both of them. And they're both entering group buy this week. One is the Beetle 60 by Bub, which looks really cool. Which might be the board that gets me over the hump finally to try a win keyless board. Just because, like, the look of it and everything, it feels... Let me see if I can track down another picture of it and throw it in here. I showed it off not that long ago. But let's see. I think it is in... Here we go. I think Mike's going to be building one. Mike from Novel Keys is going to be building one this week as well. Here we go. I'll just throw it up there. Actually, let's throw it onto this view. And let me put it... yeah, so it's a win keyless board with, like, metal bottom and dyed polycarbonate top. And I think Gorp actually would look really good on the green one. It would look really good on the green one or on the kind of cream and polycarbonate one up there, too, at the top. Anyway, I think what they had said last was that the Beetle was going to go up tomorrow for pre-order, I want to say. So that would be 10 Eastern, which is the usual Novel Keys time. And then I think the Cloud9 round 2 is supposed to start at the end of the week, like Friday. Is the 17th Friday? I think so. I should know this because the meetup is on the 18th. So yeah, the Cloud9 round 2 is going to go up. I don't think they'll have the EC kits ready right away, but I'm excited for that one too, because I think it'll go wonderfully with Expo. So my plan is to eventually move Expo from here to the Cloud9. But anyway, lots of stuff going on. And that's just some of the stuff that I am aware of and have on my radar right now. But let's talk about... Thank you for the follow. Amoradi. I really appreciate that. The 3 boards that I'm allowed to take to the Novel Keys meetup. This is one of them. Actually, I should have kept on this view. This is one that I'm considering taking. The Cult Zero, or Key Cult Zero. Since it is a Novel Keys board, you know, there is part of me that has the desire to show off what I've done with some of the stuff from Novel Keys itself. And I'm just a huge fan of this board, and I really like it. So, there are some larger boards I would love to take, but I don't have the luggage space, I don't think. Like, I would love to take the Class 413. Don't think that's feasible. So this is one I'm considering. The Keycult Zero. Also considering most everything is 75% or smaller, just to keep it more manageable. Thinking about the Duo 60. Again, a keycap vended, or Novel Keys vended keycap sets, which might be kind of nice to show off. And then, something more unique for the third one. Get it out. Which has nothing to do with Novel Keys. But, Itchy Scrote. I appreciate the follow. You may want to get that looked at. I think they have creams for that. Third board, I'm thinking the Font Awesome Sonnet. With our custom engraved and everything. I've put black feet on here since I built it on stream originally, which I think is a much better fit. With the top case and everything else. And since I got to help design this, I think it's kind of a fun addition to the lineup. And also, since there weren't that many made in the first place, I suspect we won't see another one of these at the meetup. Thank you, Frederick! Thanks for the resub. I really appreciate that. So this is the current lineup I'm considering for the meetup. There are some other contenders, potentially, like the red Neo 65 we built, which I really like. And also, I think Bub's going to be there, who designed panels, which is on that keyboard. I mean, there's other options too, but I wanted to keep it a little bit more compact. So a couple of 60s and then maybe something a little bit bigger. And these are also, like, some of my favorite in how they sound. So, that's the current thinking. Although I keep waffling on all the other possibilities, because I could take the Neo Ergo, I could take the Alu Bolt, which would be even smaller. How do you protect your keyboards when you go to the meetups? Because people have insurance photos. I do take photos, yeah. I mean, that's what I've heard other folks recommend. A lot of times at meetups as well, there are special instructions you could put on the little info card to be like, hey, please don't touch this, or please don't pick this up, or stuff like that. And by and large, from what I've heard, especially at a smaller meetup like this, people will respect that. If you're at a really big meetup where there's just like, hundreds of people coming and going, I imagine that's much harder to manage. But I also want people to use these. And, at least in the case of the Keycult and the Sonnet, I'm not overly precious with those. Because, like, this is pretty affordable. It's in stock. I can get new parts for it very easily. And the Sonnet, we have a bunch of extras, actually, at the Font Awesome office. So, and there's Sonnet parts that can be gotten anyway. So it's like, that was part of my decision as well in figuring stuff out that I wanted to take. It's like, if something terrible happened, none of this is irreplaceable. I mean, the Duo 60 would be hard to get a hold of now if I wanted to replace that or something, but it's not too bad. So, and they're all smaller and have their own carrying cases, as opposed to some of my larger boards that did not come with a carrying case, so I'd have to figure out some way to secure that in luggage, which does not sound like a fun time for me. But one of those longboards actually being the one we're going to be rebuilding today, the Typface Monospace. And something that I had planned to do with this board, I think I was aware of PBS Aperture Priority, Akuko Labs keycap set, when I got this board, and I thought, man, that would be really great. Anyway, Aperture Priority finally got here. And it's kind of a match made in heaven because I've also got the HMX KD200s that we actually used last stream on the Pixel Space capsule, but I had been waiting for Aperture Priority to show up to actually use these, so I took them out of that. Since they are based on, inspired by film stock, and now we've got Aperture Priority, which is all about camera controls, and I think they're going to look really good on the Monospace together. And that's been the plan for a long time, and it only just showed up because we were waiting on the Artisans. I get people who didn't buy the Artisan bundle got their keycaps a long time ago. But look at that. Will it focus? It's a beaut. This is a Salvin joint. And I think, yeah, Max Voltar designed it. His little logo's down in there too. But it's this lovely, like, shutter soft release. Also the first time I've gotten a PBS Artisan. So I'm excited to use that. But we were waiting on the Artisans to be made and then shipped, and then the keycaps came. But the Monospace is a long boy. And because I own this is actually a reason that I haven't gotten in on the ETAR 87 group buy, because it's the same layout. It's just flipped. It's a southpaw numpad. And I haven't been able to justify it to myself to have two FRL, TKL. Well, I guess it's technically... What would that layout be? Because it's kind of like a full size without an FRO. An FRO-less full size. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. I love this board a lot. It has lived with GMK Terminal on it for a long time because it's got the copper accent here, and that's worked out really well. So I might have to switch it out from one of the other accents and see what might go with our keycaps. I got like 3 kind of terrazzo inspired ones, like gray, white, and the black one has a little bit of red, like a fleck or two of red in it, so that might actually work to go with the Artisan. But anyway, I've also got a custom PC plate made for it a while ago, but I've been trying to remember why I changed it from the Alu in the first place, and I'm wondering about switching back. Although these switches are pretty loud, so I don't know if that would make this board just completely unbearable. Shouldn't have to do anything with the stabs. I think they're still in good shape. I shouldn't need to tune those up, I don't think. But we'll see. We shall see. Let me close out a couple things here. Got too many windows open. Alright, so let's crack it open. See which accent we want to change. Actually, I'll just leave those over there for now. Schmutz back here. I also just got a big batch of DCS stuff from Signature Plastics earlier today, which I'm excited about. Some of those new Row 4 accent kits. So I also got DCS Intro Beige, And I think these accents would go really nice with it. I just need to figure out what to put it on. I think it might actually look really nice on the thermal. And I got some color chips too. For the keycap project idea I have. So I actually got... So they come with holes in them, so you could put them onto a ring, which I might end up doing, but I got all of their brown ABS chips, all of their greens, and all of their yellows, of course. The greens and the browns are more for the keycap idea I have, and the yellows are more just for me. And maybe I'll end up making, or trying to do a run of something, excuse me, very yellow through them, but we'll see. But it's nice to have some actual physical reference. And then got some flex kits and a couple stock colors, and as well as the accent rows, which is very cool. So some of these may make an appearance on the event horizon with DCS when I build that, which, good news! I think Tim said today that they are hoping to start shipping the first units within a month. Because they're doing all the pre-packing work right now. So, very promising. We might actually get it. I have no doubt that we're going to get it. I haven't been worried about it. Okay. So there's our plate. Oh yeah, I did do a little bit of force break on this. I thought I maybe had. PC plate. Our accent's connected by a couple little screws there. And I always thought this mounting style was kind of interesting because it's using little O-rings. Actually, let me disconnect this and dust out the bottom here. These little O-rings that are on points all along the PCB. I did take off the ones under the spacebar. They recommended that might help depending on certain acoustic properties. And I did find that to be true with mine. That I liked the sound better without it. Without those mounting points being O-ringed. Let me clean this out a little bit though. Some stuff's kind of gotten down in the bottom in the intervening time, but it's got these little stainless steel weights along the bottom. So let's set this aside. Think about what sort of weight we want, or plate, I mean. Let's see. This one needs this guy. Go. Lovely little brass accent. Or copper, I should say. Not jiving with a lot of this music right now. Let's change the channel. I think this black terrazzo might look really nice. The whole photo vibe. It's also nice they provided files on their website for people to create or print or CNC their own accent pieces for both this and the Univers. So if I really wanted to get super themed with it, could like do a fun like machined red aluminum something to go with. I guess these ones are not magnetic. To go with the Artisan. Man, these really aren't magnetic. It's interesting that the other ones are. There we go. So now we got a little bit of that. There's a tiny bit of red. I don't know how well that's going to show up. Or if it will even focus on it. Hello? Maybe I'll just zoom in. There you go. A little bit of red in there. Among some of the other flecks. So, I think that might look nice with the Artisan. And now, I'm going to figure out what plate we want to use. Now let me see, maybe we can just do a quick little test and put some of the switches in and see if it is unbearably loud. They were pretty loud on the capsule. Come on. There we go. Get some placeholders in here. Line up. Would use the plate fork, but I feel like, well, maybe I could sneak it in there. These O-rings make it a little bit difficult. I can sneak it in like down here. There we go. This might be pretty bright with these and aluminum. The keycaps are pretty low because we're going to be using PBS, so it's a uniform profile and they're all a little bit lower, so might turn out okay. Let's see if I can get this out. Pop the O-rings off, that's fine. Had a little bit of trouble the first time I built this, but just gotta stretch them out. I think there was only one durometer that this came with as well. I wonder if anyone's tried anything different on it. I think it's all the same in the baggie here. Well, I think, am I remembering this right, that this has double mounting styles? It does! I forgot about this. That it has the gasket mount, but it also has top mount because of all the mounting points here. I wonder how that would be. Well, thank you for following, Mr. Cheek Clapper. Wow, we are getting all the various Twitch celebrities today. Got an itchy scrot, Cheek Clapper. actually check something on the Typface website. Plate files, internal weight. I was trying to see if they had a build guide. Excuse me. I just had dinner, so I'm really burpy right now. Hey, returning to the keyboard community, I noticed not many more keyboard streamers. Can you tell me what your favorite switches are? Welcome back! Yeah, the streaming scene has fallen off a bit in the last few years. My favorite switch right now? That's tough. I feel like I'm trying new ones all the time. I actually just got some new ones in today. I got both Type Rs and Retro Js. So I'm not sure where they will end up falling in terms of things that I like. But I would say probably my favorite current... Why isn't that going in? My current favorite switch manufacturer is HMX. Just for ease of use. I say that, and I can't get this damn switch into the thing. There we go. Because of the consistency of their lubrication and their manufacturing tolerances. I have had, out of several hundred HMX switches at this point, I've had an issue with 5, maybe? So, they've been exceedingly good. Out of all that, it would be tough to find a favorite just because they make so many. And a lot of them have very slight differences between them. Slight change in material, slight change in color, something like that. Maybe it's like part of a collaboration and so there's a special colorway or something like that. But, yeah, tough to say. And so much of it depends on other attributes for me. Do you have a favorite from your when you used to be more in the keyboard scene? Tough for me to pick one. I used to be big on Aphelion melodies. Not as much anymore, although I still do... That's no fault of Punk Shoes, who designed them, because I still do like a lot of his other switches. It was more of manufacturing and lubing issues with Aphelion. Still rocking Holy Pandas. Trying to find a nice Thocky switch. I've had good luck recently with some of Novelkey's new switches. They partnered with Type Plus on the NK Classic Blues and the Alex Odos Granite switches. I have found to have a pretty nice deeper sound signature, partly due to the material makeup of them, but I've enjoyed those a lot. The stock lube is surprisingly good on those as well. But they also offer them unlubed if you want to mod them yourself. Yeah, HMX may not be for you then, because they tend to go a little more on the clacky end. Although they do have some pretty deep ones now. They've also gotten more into the tactile game, which is relatively new for HMX. I've enjoyed some of those, like the HMX Bleeds, the ones that I have in my Duo 60 that I can't remember the name of right now, K01s maybe, I think is what they're called. And then of course the Retro Js, the Frogs, Cilantros. How are the KD200s? I like them a lot. I've used them in a couple other boards at this point. I'm using them here to be more on theme with Aperture Priority, though. Because I've been switch-pilled by my friend and coworker, Brian, who kind of turned me onto the whole, like, matching switches to the theme and trying to do the whole complete build picture. And so now that's something I try to do. If I have something that lines up either thematically or chromatically in some way. I haven't used these on aluminum, though, so I'm interested to see how that's going to be. And also just realized I'm just kind of willy-nilly putting these in, and I haven't followed my usual pattern. But I also just got a replacement aluminum plate for my Typface Univers over there, which was red. I didn't realize the stock plates were red. But maybe that was a round 2 thing. And I got mine back in round 1. So, need to figure out what to do with that before next week. Or before next Wednesday. A week from tomorrow is when I'm hosting my keyboard event. Here in West Michigan. What's my favorite keyboard? Another good question. I've really gotten into 60% over the last year. So I do really like this, the Keycult Zero. I also really like the Duo 60 from Lazy Designers. I also have a soft spot for the Mode Sonnet because I helped design a special collab version of it. And I've gotten mine to sound really good, the way I like. Favorite keyboard, though. For ease of use, I've really enjoyed all the Neo stuff lately. That's probably what I recommend the most to new people in the hobby. Favorite is tough. There's a lot of criteria that could go into that. Keycult's a name I've not heard in ages. Yeah. Although there are some naysayers in the hobby who would say that because Novel Keys is helping them out with production and fulfillment, that these aren't true Keycults now. To which I say bullshit. But, you know, just, you know, they don't have the exclusivity that they once did, so maybe they're not as desirable anymore. But, I don't know. I think it's cool that they're more available to people. Did you win the raffle for Keycult? Not original Keycult. I have built an original Keycult for someone else. I've only won... No, I've won a couple of keyboard raffles. The most recent was the Event Horizon, which I will probably say that will be my favorite board. That's what I'm suspecting once it comes. Just because I love the design. I know the designer, and he's put a lot of love into it, and by all accounts from other reviewers, it's great. So, excited for that. I suspect that will become my favorite board once I get the chance to actually type on it. There may be, of course, it'd be funny, there may be prototypes of it at the Novel Keys meetup this weekend that I'll get to type on before I actually get to type on mine. I'm glad you miss watching keyboard streams. I used to love them. Thanks, man. Yeah, I've really enjoyed it. I've only been streaming since May or June, I think. I'm trying to remember, because I kicked it off by building the Fawn Awesome mode, Sonnet, for Fawn Awesome on their channel. And then I've been doing it every week since then, except last week because I was traveling. There's still some really good streamers out there, though. I mean, Alex is still going strong. Diego, Frank, Apiary, Kim, Sergeant Finley, Captain Sterling. Yeah, the numbers have fallen off, but there's still a lot of folks still fighting the good fight out there. Nice. So maybe we should try top mount this time. Just go straight in for metal plate, top mount. I have been building keyboards for years, but only recently got into the streaming game. Partly because, as you mentioned, I felt like it had kind of fallen off of, folks streaming these days. And I just wanted to be more integrated into the community. I already had cameras and stuff from doing some other streaming work. And so it wasn't much of a lift, And I knew that I was going to need to rebuild a couple dozen boards for the event that I'm running next week. So I was like, why not stream this? I'm going to be doing this anyway. It'd be fun to chat with people and not just sit in my basement while I do this. And it's worked out really nicely. It's been a lot of fun. So, let's put this in. I'm curious how this will sound in top mount. So we have to get our other screws, which are here, I believe. Excuse me. Still recovering a little bit from the cold. Wondering how the metal on metal is going to sound. We will find out. May end up switching back to just gasket. Although I guess the gaskets should probably come off. I wish I knew where this build guide was. 'Cause I don't know that they had one. Actually, let me check. Let's see what they recommend, because I hadn't done top mount before. See if they've got a build guide listed. Let's see, Univers build guide. Oh, they didn't have one. Well, that would explain why I couldn't find it. They don't have it listed in their resources for the board. Maybe we'll revisit. Let's see. Pause this real quick. 837. We got a full VOD here. Pull this up. We'll sneak a peek at Mr. Toes here and see if he said anything about the mounting style, since there is no build guide. Yeah, I just want to see if they recommend keeping the gaskets on or not. Solder, solder, solder. Looks like... Oh! Putting them on? Okay. You might not have done top mount, though. If only there were timestamps. This is why I add timestamps to all of my VODs on YouTube. Just put that out there. I think it is extremely helpful. Alright, so does he just set it in? Just do gasket? Yeah, okay. Thanks for nothing, Alex. I'm going to try both and see how it sounds. It might be good to add a little bit of isolation. I suspect it's probably a good idea to keep the gaskets. Do you have a favorite board, Mr. Cheeks? Since you asked, Mr. Cheek? I only have two keyboards. One is the Rama 75. Oh, there's a blast from the past. Sold the rest. Yeah, I'm going to be doing... I mean, I'm not going to sell all of them, but I have plans. I'm setting up and taking photos a bit for selling a bunch of boards, hopefully, after next week's event that I just don't enjoy as much anymore, or various things. Need to recover some hobby funds and clear out some space, so I'm going to have them on display next week and then try to sell them. That was a good excuse to also like check up on how they were doing. Trying to find a good modern build to see what the Cube community was up to, but literally every streamer is gone. I mean, not every streamer. Alex is pretty much getting all the new stuff and trying out that stuff. Some of the newest development is probably all the stuff that Clever and Dynacap are working on together. If you're interested in Topra boards at all, they are working on bringing OEM-style Topra builds for HMX Keycaps with no interference, which is pretty cool. Something I'm excited to get into because I've used Topra a little bit. I've never had a Topra board. I'm excited to take some boards and convert them. I think it'd be really cool. So like one of the boards I mentioned at the beginning that will actually be going up for group buy later this week, we'll eventually have a Dynacap EC package that comes with it, which I'm excited to try out. That'll probably be my first one. Unless they somehow come out with EC for the classic TKL before then, but I'm guessing not. Do you have a favorite layout? So you have a 75 and a 65. I also have a Tofu 65. That was my very first mechanical keyboard. I have one of the polycarbonate or acrylic, whatever they were at the time. That would have been from, I don't know, 2021 maybe? Oh, another good streamer to follow would be Extra Prius, please. Evan. Excellent guy. Also just launched his own keycap set that's in group buy right now. Favorite layout, I think I like the 75. There's all these keyboards with touchscreens. I saw intrigued me. Oh yeah. For sure. Yeah, I've used a handful of 75s, mostly being the mode Sonnet in a few different configurations. I've also enjoyed 70%, like the Typface Univers, which has worked out well for me. Which is, at the speed this is going, I might end up looking at that as well and seeing if there's anything we want to do with that quickly. Because it's sitting over there disassembled currently. Well, I can hear, let me pause this so I can hear better. Here we got some of that clack I can hear going already. There was one keyboard I loved back in the day, I can't remember the name. There's been so many keyboards. It is hard to keep track. And I'm only streaming like once a week. And like trying to keep up with stuff, it's a lot. Okay. Oh, the Fuji 65. Yeah. I definitely remember seeing that. Yes. I just looked it up. Yeah. Yeah, I do remember the Fuji 65. Yep, 65s were definitely my gateway. I haven't gone in for them as much. I think the last one I got, or I ordered, was the Manta. But that's kind of a special case because it's such a more unique bottom design. But I haven't gone in for 65s as much recently. All right. Let's see how well this goes with the keycaps. Aperture Priority. I think while the box is more in line with the keycaps, I think that the switches, I think these keycaps veer more into yellow than orange yellow. As you can see here with this comparison. That's okay. You won't even see these. But it's interesting seeing there's quite a discrepancy between the box design and the keycaps themselves. If you've been out of the hobby for a hot second, you may not know this profile, which is PBS, or Penguin Belly Slide. It's a uniform profile, I mean, except for the bottom row. But it is kind of a uniform cylindrical type thing. And then bottom row is convex. But these were designed by Timothy, Akuko Labs, as you may know, if you know the Motif 65 and GMK Motif. He designed those. He also designed Gestalt keycaps, which are very fun. Still takes me a second to tell what I'm doing when I actually use them, but very fun. He's also been working on a few other keycap sets that are not out yet, but just an A+ designer all around. We got a lot of fun stuff here. Well, it's almost a shame, because I do love this function row too, that this doesn't actually have an F row on it. Never ever seen this. Yeah, I mean, it's in terms of the hobby, this keycap profile is fairly recent. Yeah, I'm trying to think of other newcomers that you might have missed. There was MT New that GMK makes. PBS, of course. There's Cap now, which is made by Keyrative. But that's Cherry adjacent. SLK, which I haven't seen much done with, but what wrist rest do you recommend? I wouldn't know. I don't use wrist rests. I use the one that came with the Neo Ergo, and that's about it. I had not really gotten into the wrist rest game other than that. Although they are making Keycult wrist rests to match these now, which are pretty nice looking. So I might get in on that at some point, but no, I don't. I'm not really a wrist rest guy. I think it's years of piano lessons have helped me do the imaginary bubble and keep things up. Nice clack to it. Have you tried the HMX FJ400s? I have not. Is that another one of the film series? Sounds like it. Oh yeah, they're the green ones. I have not. This is the only one of the film series that I have gotten specifically to go with this keycap set, actually. I'm curious though if they're just a recolor and a very similar structure. Sometimes HMX does that. Oh, I should actually double check the intended use for some of these novelties. F-stop as the tab. Oh, I need a stepped ISO. That's fun. And shift. Oh, this size of shift. It's an interesting sound signature they have. Let's do, I think we'll need that for our backspace. let's do... There is a bit more hollowness than I'm used to. Yeah, maybe that's due to the metal plate. I think we need... There it is. It was hiding. That's what I was looking for originally. In terms of die sub, it is wild seeing how much higher quality these are than the SLK to SAW keycaps. Granted, the board that they were meant to come with was also kind of low quality. I'm not even showing it off next week at my event because it's just like... was not able to get it to sound good at all. And it also had some quality control issues with the finish, with the accent bar at the top. It's not great. Alright, I think we are a 7 unit. Oh, that's right. Okay. Let's see, shouldn't need that. And then we got different lighting settings here. Let's do... sun, and then cloud on the other side, maybe. With a little lightning bolt in the middle. Or do we only have one little lightning bolt? What? What the heck? That's an interesting kitting decision. I want 2 little lightning bolts. Fine. Dumb big lightning bolts. And these don't really matter because it's uniform, but probably keep the sprue mark all in the same place. Now black on black does look really nice. So let's see, we got... and our 0. Looking good. Oh, I guess there is a convex one. I guess that would be nicer if we were working with a 65% where it needed to blend into blend into the row a little bit more, but there's the lock. Spacebar is much deeper. Nice. So let's do I think page. Go. And like the cute little trays that this stuff comes in now. Much easier than signature plastics. Alright, now we just need our lovely Salvin Artisan. With our shutter button here. Pause this. Get a better listen here. Well, thank you, Frederick. I think it is too. This was kind of the plan for this board a long time ago, when I knew that this keycap set would be coming. I'm not 100% on the metal plate though. I wanted to try it out since I hadn't tried it since I first built it. I even, at least with the switches and the GMK keycaps I was using at the time, I was so against the metal plate that I actually ran plateless for a bit in a hot swap board. It worked out okay until I got my custom one in. But I don't hate it, but could also be the top mount. I think I'm considering actually first, let me just try going back to straight O-ring gaskets and seeing how that sounds. And then, if I still don't love it, maybe we'll switch back to the PC plate. So we do have just under an hour. And I so rarely get to rebuild things multiple times on stream. I'm glad this actually came in time, Frederick, for the event at the co-working space next week, because I wanted to be able to show off a different keycap profile, because most of the stuff I have is GMK CYL. I guess I have a little bit of SA in the mix, but be nice to show a wider breadth, you know? Profile looks interesting. It's fun. It's a uniform one. It's very nice to type on. I have a beige one that Max Voltar designed in this same profile. It's fairly new. Only seen a handful of sets use it so far. And it tends to be a little more affordable because it's die subbed as opposed to double shot plastic. All of them? Okay, so then maybe just the O-rings. Oh, there's one. Seal it up. See how much that alters the sound. This a listen. It does sound better to me. A little bit more balanced. Cut down some of the higher end pitch on the top mount. Nice. Yeah, once it's not in top mount, I don't mind aluminum at all with with these keycaps. Nice. And it just looks so good. The black and yellow. That little touch of red. And a little bit of silver. It's also nice because it reminds me a lot of my camera. Because I got a duotone Fujifilm with a black and silver body. So it's nice. In fact, if I can fish it out. Ooh, too much stuff. Too much stuff in the office. Granted, I don't have a soft or a red soft shutter release on this, but kind of doing the silver and black two-tone situation. Although the yellow release I do have on here goes really well with this. Might have to. I would want to pose this with some photos together, but I would need to use this camera to take them. Looks inspired by a Leica camera? Yes. The I believe that is what Timothy used as inspiration for the keycaps themselves. I don't have the money for a Leica though. Even this one I got used. All my cameras I've gotten used because I don't have that kind of money. And what money I do have goes into keyboards. No one has the money for a Leica? Yeah. Yeah, a Leica or a Hasselblad or something like that. Woo. Maybe if I had a photography career where that might make more sense to have those tools. But just as a hobbyist, I mean, I don't anticipating needing more than this for a very long time, if ever. But yeah, it's kind of fun. It is definitely a darker silver, but it's kind of fun. Excuse me. Let me put these back in a bag, since I don't think I will be using them. Maybe we'll swap these out here. Nice. And maybe we can also talk about, or want to probably figure out what I want to do with the Typface Univers that I have as well, since we're on a... Also, I changed the switches in this, and I really like how it sounds. It's very fun. And it has a higher spring weight than I usually use. It's good. Check Slack? Alright, I will do it. Let me respond to you. I can tell I haven't typed on this profile in a while, though. It's taken me a little bit. go, Frederick. I answered you. Actually, I should go ahead and pack that up because I'm going to take it to co-work tomorrow. Let's put it in its little pouch. And I can go ahead and go in the backpack. Now, since we're chatting about Typface boards, and I think this one is in a good enough spot for next week. I also have my Typface Univers that I need to rebuild. So I won't do this tonight, but I might try to think about what I want to do with it tonight. This was a board that I used my Font Awesome keycaps on for a long time. They have since been migrated. Oh, what's going on there? Been migrated over to the ones that were on here are now on my Font Awesome mode 80. And so I need to figure out what I want to do with it. It might be a nice chance to show off either some DCS or MT new for next week. Could it be the most overpowered macropad ever? Which one are you talking? Are you talking about this? Potentially. But I did get a new plate because I thought about trying out aluminum on this again because I didn't first time around, and it came with a lovely red. Oh, this could be the most macropad ever. I mean, sure, any keyboard could, I guess, because you could program it to be whatever. If I wanted it to be the most overpowered, I would probably use the Class 413 because that has so many keys on it. Also ordered case foam, and it was this, which I am not familiar with, and I'm trying to remember exactly what they called it. Let's see, store, Univers. Yeah, case foam, 0.5 millimeter IXPE, and I didn't think anything of that abbreviation. I was just like, yeah, sure, case foam. And it's this, which is like a little bit thicker than like a PE sheet would be. And I'm just like, what the? It's called case foam, so does it go in the case? And it looks like it has cutouts for like hot swap sockets. So I'm going to try something with that. I don't know what it's for. And then maybe do some aluminum. And I also got a spare PCB, but I don't need that right now because this one's still working. I just wanted to have a backup in case, because it's such a unique layout. But then I thought maybe I would, if I wanted to, because there is occasionally, depending on the keycap and switch choice, a little bit of hollowness in here. And so I thought maybe I could mitigate that by tearing out some foam from a different board and just seeing how it works, seeing if it plays ball. But don't know. It'd be an interesting Frankensteining to attempt something like that, but might at least take this apart and see what this foam sheet does. I mean, it is have the texture foam underneath, but then it's completely shiny on the top, and I don't know what that is. Unfamiliar to me. Get this back down here. So we'll just tinker a little bit. DIY all of it. I'm considering it. This is probably one of the boards I've rebuilt the most, because I've done so many different things with it. And then when I hit that sweet spot of HMX clouds and the Fawn Awesome keycaps, I was like, I'm going to keep this the way it is forever. And then I decided that I should try those keycaps on a Fawn Awesome board. That changed my plan a little bit. Let's take these out. Also did a little bit of force break to this one as well, back in the day. The PC plate. And then we've got our little tadpole mounts. And this also has an option of a different little accent piece. The tadpoles do look kind of fun with the red plate though. Yeah, we got about a half hour, so let's tinker a little bit. Maybe I should change my build command real quick. Not that anybody uses them. Let's see, CloudBot, commands. And I really cannot type. There we go. Command updated. Let's see if it works. Nice. So, maybe with red, I could try out some of those new HMX caps, or switches, like the Retro J's or the Bleeds or something. But first, let's see how this goes. So the spacebar will need to be adjusted for sure. I can't even remember, honestly, where this foam originally came from. Seems a little bit stretched. Well, the F-Rose also has a different spacing to it. So, let's have a little craft time here. What we could do... This is extra foam from something. I don't even know what. May end up using some of that. And then let's remove that. We have super glue at this base. I don't think I'll need it, but thank you. I think we will remove. I think this must have been some board that had standoffs, because that's what these holes look like. Turn that down ever so slightly. some of this around the space bar as well. So this also had a reversed stab placement. Seems like. Whatever I stole this foam from. And this is for the arrow key, so let's trim this out. And trim this out as well. If we overlay this, what do we get? Actually, that might work out pretty well. Just to give it a little bit more spacing. What if we did toss in? Let's go up to here. A little arts and crafts time. It's always nice. Well, thank you for following, Dreamer. Appreciate it. Let's see if this is, if I even deem this worthwhile to try to do anything down here. I guess there's a switch spot right there too. Nah. Nah. So let's see. So we got red. Squish all that down. A little custom foam here. Lines up pretty well, all things considered. Actually, what's going on there? Is that something? No. Excuse me. So let's see. Oh, actually, if we want to be really red, the Type R's just came in. And they are quite red. I've heard nothing but good things about Type R's. Actually, let me put down this under here just so I don't tear up the desk mat accidentally with the hot swap sockets. We're just going to wing it and see how this goes. My foam is sliding. I think I need to put a few anchors around here just to keep the foam from moving too much. I usually am more meticulous with planning out my builds, but if this ends up being really good, I might be a little angry for like just throwing it together at the last minute. But I feel like the tactiles will do nicely with a metal plate. These don't seem as tight tolerance as other GAT switches I've tried recently. Maybe it's just because they're with a metal plate and I don't use those as often. Because with a plastic plate, they really grab on. Like when I was doing the Laranges in the Piggy with the PC plate. Little tweezer. Grab it. Just to make sure it doesn't get pinched. Bent pin, so we always check. Always check your pins. Something I'll need to reiterate at my event next week, I'm sure, because last time we ended up with more than a few when everybody was helping put the switches in. But this time we'll be using HMX switches, and so they're a little easier to get in and out. I think The first time we did one, it was all mode tomorrow switches. Just go in a little bit tighter on average. Enable raids? Wait, what? What do I need to do? Do I not have raids enabled? I'm sorry. I don't know how to do that. Where's that done? I've raided lots of people. I didn't know that I couldn't be raided. Let's see... Channel? Here, let me look it up. Oh, we can do it on the stream manager. No, that's not it. How to use raids. How to enable raids. Twitch, you're not helping me. Oh, there we go. Allow settings. Thank you, Frederick. That is the AI summary that I already saw, and it is incorrect. That is to do raids. I'm trying to accept a raid. Stream. Click here to manage who can raid your channel. There we go. Allow raids. Wow, it was set to deny all raids? Garbage. Well, now I can accept raids. I'm sorry if you... Is that the default setting? That is so dumb. Well, that moment's probably passed. I'm so sorry. I did not know that was a setting. It's not one that I changed to deny raids, that's for sure. Whoa! It worked! Raids! Hello. Thank you for coming. I am Jabronis. I mainly do keyboard stuff. Yeah, big surprise. We had no idea we were coming because Twitch decided to disable raids for me. Oh my goodness. Thank you all for the follows. Yeah, we have done a couple keyboards so far. Yes, Chuck, I am prepping for novel keys. Yeah, I am flabbergasted. Thank you for your patience while I was figuring out how Twitch works. Because I didn't know that somehow my raid settings got turned off. So I appreciate you all coming. And I appreciate you, Piri, for letting me know that was the case. I wonder if others have tried to raid me and just gave up because it wasn't an option. Oh, man. Well, thank you all for being here. Where did I get... What, this keycap puller? I think it came with a Keycron a long time ago. But anyway. But I'm going to be getting a much better keycap puller next week. Or this weekend at the Novel Keys Keyboard Meetup. I'm getting one from Reggie. Turnt Wood Pullers himself. She did just then, so you know. Okay. I appreciate that. So yes, this is the one I've been using for years. It is not good. It gets the job done. So, Varble, thank you for the follow. Yes, I'm excited to have a better keycap puller. But welcome, everybody. Yeah, I've been prepping some boards. I'm going to the Novel Keys meetup this weekend, and so picking out what I want to take and getting some stuff ready. I am also hosting a keyboard event at my co-working space here in West Michigan, where I live, where I will be showing off all my boards and letting people try them out. We're going to be building a keyboard all together, and then we're going to give it away to somebody who's in attendance. I have also gotten a bunch of 1U artisan keycaps, row 1 artisan keycaps made, that everybody will get one of those as well, just for coming. So it's very fun. Almost all of my keyboards are packed on the floor. A lot of them used to be back here, over here, but now they are in boxes. I'm assuming you're making all red keyboard or all red and white. This is all red so far. The case for this is silver, actually, but I got a spare aluminum plate. I got the round, this is for the Typface Univers. I got the round 1 board, and then I, on a whim, got an extra PCB recently and a spare aluminum plate, because I got PC with round 1, and it was red, which I was not expecting. So I decided to lean into it with some Gateron Type Rs, and we're gonna see how it goes. Yeah, I do have a very red board that I built on stream not that long ago as well, with panels, but yeah, Type Rs are goated. That's what I've heard. This is my first time using them. I got both these and HMX Retro J's just recently. I've been getting back on the tactile train. Hello, Reggie. We were just talking about how shitty this keycap puller is and how excited I am to get a new one soon. Thank you for the follow, Candle. And Clipty. Yeah, I've only got like 15 minutes left that I'm allowed to, that I'm not allowed to stream, that I can stream before I have to put my kid to bed. So I'm glad everybody showed up at this point. But let's see how far we can get. This was also kind of Frankenstein foam situation going on in here, as you can see from a bunch of various scraps, because I've found that there is still some resonance that kind of lingers with this board, and so I'm going to try to cut down on that a little bit. Let's fix that. Have a good selection coming to the meetup. Probably good you only have 15 minutes. I have some prep I need to do for the meetup that I'm procrastinating. Yeah, I mean, I just yesterday I got my travel arrangements finally squared away, which was good. Car rental stuff for getting from Pittsburgh to Morgantown. All right. Love keyboards. I want to upgrade. Have an RK61 that had unlubed brown switches. Hey, there's no shame in unlubed brown switches. Some folks really like the scratch. My first mechanical keyboard had unlubed brown switches in it. My Tofu 65. And it was also soldered, and so when the stabilizers broke, I didn't know what to do. Thank you for the follow. Slick Rickles. Excuse me. I also get to figure out what to do with this contraption that also came with the board, which they labeled as being... so it must go this way. This is the case foam, which got a little bent up. But I had never encountered foam like this, which is 0.5 millimeter thick. And then it's really shiny on one side and like normal kind of foamy texture on the other side. And I guess it does have the cutouts for the hot swap sockets, and it's just meant to, I guess, prevent any contact between the PCB and the case, which is really interesting. So we're double foaming, and we're trying it out and seeing how it's going to work. Let's see. And this is what we built earlier in the stream, was the Typface Monospace with Aperture Priority, which I finally got because the artisan finally came in. There we go. This is my third keyboard. I don't really like to share my age because streamers treat me different after knowing my age. I just grabbed whatever looked cool and was cheap. Hey, there's nothing wrong with that. Absolutely. I mean, there's what better way to get started in a hobby? You don't know what you like yet. You don't know what any of the acronyms or the abbreviations mean, you know? And that's one of the reasons why I'm running a keyboard event at my co-working space next week, because I mean, I like showing all the stuff off and like having people test it out, but it's also like, if you're interested in this hobby, you have no idea what anything is, and it's so subjective and everything is so tactile, no pun intended, that, you know, how would you even know where to start? And prices vary wildly, quality can vary wildly. You don't know if what you're getting is legit necessarily. If you are aware of the keyboard hobby and you've heard of vendors suddenly taking money and rug pulls and all this other stuff, you might be a little bit shy about wanting to get into it. So I like being that resource. I like to, in my normal graphic design job, I call myself an icon sommelier because I work on iconography and work on pairing it with user interfaces, typefaces, things like that. I also like to think of myself as a keyboard sommelier in some ways because I like to get people's opinions and like, what kind of work do you do? What sorts of layout things do you need? And help them figure out like what they like and what they don't like and what would pair well with the kinds of things they're trying to do. So I've already gotten a few people at my co-working space hooked on keyboards, and I hope to get even more. Especially because we'll be giving one away. You know, we'll see. We'll be building a classic TKL at the event, and I think it'll be really fun. Anyway, I'm going ahead and practicing all of my gibbering excitedly for the event. Actually, I'm going to put a screen on real quick because I need to blow my nose, and that's nothing that anyone needs to see. Hold on. There we go. And now I'm unmuted. All right, so let's reattach. Reattach. Oh, I missed that. Thank you for following, Supervin. Vinchan. Let me get back to my stream manager here so I can tell what I'm doing. I got so flustered when raids didn't work, I have like 7 extra windows open. Thank you for the follow, Ravius. I really appreciate it. So amongst all the new folks here, who all's going to the Novel Keys meetup this weekend? I'm really curious. This is my first meetup that I haven't organized, just showing off keyboards, I mean. Whoops. You're coming, Ryan? Excellent. I'm very excited. I figured, why not go all out for my first keyboard meetup, right? Go in style. There's a couple that I had tried to go to. Last year I had wanted to go to both the Detroit meetup and the Chicago meetup. And neither were, I mean, Detroit one ended up not happening, and the Chicago timing didn't work out. So it's been on my bucket list for a while. I don't even know where they are, so that sucks for me. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. You just aren't aware of keyboard meetups? There's some big ones. In a lot of big cities will have them periodically. Indianapolis, I know, like Portland has them, New York has them, various parts of Southern California have them. Toronto, there's one in Milwaukee. I mean, those are just some that I know about. I've come across them mostly through various Discords and stuff. There's also, KeyCon? That also moves around depending on what people vote. So KeyCon's actually going to be in Chicago next year, and so I'm hoping to go to that, since it's just around the lake, because I live in West Michigan. Let's throw some keycaps on here real quick, just to see how this This one was just kind of cobbled together on a whim after I built this one. So I just kind of threw some parts together that I have lying around. But, no, I don't have Crimson Cadet. The only red-ish set that I really have is panels, and that's already on a board and packed away. So that's a great question. I think I might try some DCS, because I have... Actually, let me put this camera away. I had it out because I was comparing the colors to the Monospace, since it's all camera themed now. But I just got a bunch of DCS Flex stuff, as in addition to a bunch of color chips, because I'm designing keycaps. I'm wondering how much this might clash. I mean, you won't see a ton of the red, but it might be fun to do. Some really vibrant 80s type stuff here. Might do that. And then might do DCS Intro WoB, which is somewhere over here. I think it's in the cupboard. I got too much stuff. Let's see, all of my messy cupboard full of switches here. Let's see, there it is. All of my various switch containers. We'll snooze that ad. We don't need that. Don't have a lot of time left anyway. So DCS Intro WoB, which I've also got the big ass enter. This is what I'm saving for the event horizon. So we need... So if we do... Let's see, we got control. What do we want to do? Let's go with the teal. Must run, have an epic meetup. Please share photos of your journey. Thank you, Sean. I plan to. That'll probably be next week's stream. We'll be reviewing the meetup and all that kind of fun stuff. Could do a mix of arrows. Enter. Alright, let's get back to some of these guys. Ooh. Interesting sound. I don't hate it. I need to change out the spacebar. 7. Don't need those. Yeah, ERTY. Thank you for following. Rue. Dots, ASDF, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Numlock, control. That is DXCV. I do love the sound of DCS. Haven't gotten to use it much. 110890. DCS shine better with tactiles. That's what I have come to hear. I definitely like other Signature Plastics profiles with tactiles, like DSS and SA. And L is there. Let's see, you don't need that F. S. So we'll slap all these keycaps on, and then I gotta scoot after this. 9. UIOP. There. GH. There's the blanks I have for the event horizon as well. Because by default, DCS Intro comes with the Windows key, like the actual Windows logo on it. And I was like, no. No, thank you. Otherwise, an excellent set. So I decided to pick up a couple 1U row 4 blanks from Signature Plastics. Let's see, tab, question mark, that goes here. I need stepped caps. There's one of the Windows keys right there, which we do not want. Now I might actually, wondering if I want a little bit of chromatic separation here with the arrow keys. That looks like the numpad. There we go. Pipe. That is a different row of pipe. There we go. Quirt and I think, where is nipple J? That's what I'm looking for. Match. Six. Windows 3. ISO enter. There's my little bitty shift. Although I may end up using that one. Maybe I'll just use some of these accents as is. I don't know. F3, Alt. There's J. 12, another blank. Z. Oh yeah, I'm digging that. That is fun. Here's my backspace, finally at the bottom. I guess I do need all these, don't I? I've been throwing all these function keys over the side. It's like, wait a second. This does actually need them. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. F2, F1. Hang on to some of these just in case, what I want to do with them. Shift, Alt, and F6. Hey, the build command worked. Hooray. Another one of these fun technology things that just decides to stop working one time. There was like a... I think it was actually Frank helped me figure out. He came on one of my streams and helped me troubleshoot why suddenly the build command stopped working. And I was just like, oh, it just decided to turn itself off. Okay, super cool. Thanks, Streamlabs. But everything seems to be in order today. And that is fantastic. Okay, so I did F3. I am missing F5. I was hoping it might be one I could see through the bottom. Where are you, F5? Well, while we think about that, let me go ahead and grab some of these out of the signature blister packaging. Let's see, so we'll use our function. Oh, I also need... I should just get them all out, and then I can just actually sort through them. Also missing a bracket. Not that bracket. Aha! I just need... Still don't see F5. Aha! There we go. And we'll just do these arrows for sure. We don't need the black ones. And I realized I did looking really good. Thank you, Frederick. Has a really fun sound to it, I think. Let's do... I'm trying to remember what the layout was here. Is it just... I think it's all even. Super... You can do this nigh in unintelligible, or illegible, I should say. Break these shifts out. I wonder how much more successful Signature Plastics could be if they invested in real packaging that wasn't like the worst ever for getting stuff out. One more hiding in the corner. We also have these really funky little guys with the flat edges. I'll need to figure out something to do with those at some point. Let's see. Let's replace the shifts while we're at it. Since we have some options here. Shift and shift. And we got super, and then we'll just need Control and Alt. That's fun. And then something else to go here. Well, this is the typical one, but then I also, what did I do when it was the Fun Awesome Keycaps? Maybe we'll throw in home or something up there. And. Sure, we'll do home for now. I can figure out what I want to do. Shove all this aside. That's fun with the new DCS accents and the flex kits. Just throwing together on a whim. Let me pause this real quick. It does have a nice... Ooh. A nice bit of marbliness to it with the keycaps. No, not bad for just throwing some parts together. I might have to tweak the sound a little bit. But I honestly don't hate it for just some parts that were lying on the floor that I had from a couple shipments that have come in. I might need to... What's going on there? The spacebar is not playing nice with the stabilizers a little bit. I might need to swap that out. I think I ran into that last time I tried something with DCS as well. Well, they're also old TX stabs, so they could stand being changed out. All right, I'm over time. Got too excited. But that's gonna be the stream. I really appreciate you all being here. All the folks who raided. I'll be streaming again next week after the Novel Keys meetup. And we'll see what goodies we've got. But yeah, gonna tweak this some more, but I think we are in a good spot with 2 boards tonight. Not too shabby. Who's streaming right now? Who could we raid? Anybody? Kim's streaming. Sweet. Alright, I do know how to raid. I just didn't know how to be rated. So let's raid Kim. What is she working on? Weekend recap, co-working, lubing, vintage switches. Excellent. So let's get cooking. Thank you, folks. Appreciate it, and I hope you have a fantastic night.